And we are live from Bromandy.
Oh boy, we're back again.
We are back. I'm Cruxis with
Marcus.
And Sholtz. Sholtz is lovely, by the way.
Sholtz is lovely.
If anyone cared.
Okay.
Okay.
Sholtz is lovely. He's doing great.
That's awesome.
All right.
Great day for a podcast.
Great night for a podcast.
2 a.m.? I love that time.
I'm all about it. Anyway, responding to our question we left with last time, what anime universe will we live in? Go for it. Sholtz.
I mean, since I previously told Marcus Sword Art, but he told me you can't have it's just the world with a game in it. So I'm going to choose Log Horizon, which is a game with a world in it. So that's where I'm going to live.
Which is clever as shit. Just
I feel comfortable with it.
Dude, good move.
I'm going to live in that world because it's exciting for me.
It's exciting for you, video
It's
games.
like playing Sword Art, but I don't have to leave.
Yeah, there you go.
Or die in the hospital.
Yeah. Or just like fall over in a city and just sit there forever.
That's your problem, actually.
That's not my problem.
That's what you
Because my world is Gurren Lagann. Because Gurren Lagann's world is literally, if you have willpower and you want to be a badass, then you take over planets. So that'll be my thing. That's what I want to do.
Taking over planets?
Yeah, it's just like, man, it's been a really good day. I think I could take on a planet right now. And then you do.
Okay.
I could wreck the universe just for a minute. So, yeah.
I mean,
that would easily be my decision.
I would only ever take Pluto, so.
Just Pluto?
Because it's a planet.
Yeah, that planet gets the cold shoulder.
Okay, well, I totally picked No Game, No Life.
Oh.
So I can play games all day and win money and stuff.
And win money and nations.
Make whatever wish I want come true.
Boom.
And all I need is a chessboard or something similar.
Yeah, boom. And dude, Game Boy Advance, you'll take over the universe.
Yeah. Wow. It's like we pull up our consoles. Well, all right, let's do
It's
this.
just like we would like to play.
No, it's like we get
okay.
there and all the MLG
Sponsor.
people are there.
They're like, hey, we came here first.
It's like, hey, we're here. You gotta back off.
Dude, that's like a nation in the universe you just don't know about yet.
It's just.
There's the consolers.
That would have been really bad to say.
Consolers.
Like it's just Asian people.
Dude, and they just
'Cause
have
they're so
awesome
good.
catchphrases when they win. They're just like, my condolences.
Man, do you have more than one? Or was that it?
Dude, that's all I've got.
Okay, I really wanted to know if you could follow that up.
You're now
If it's any consolation.
under my controller. Sorry.
You killed it for me.
I thought it was pretty good.
I don't know, but
The
my
effort was there and I
consolences.
appreciated it.
Hey,
Consolences.
I just wanted to roll with it.
It tickles.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I guess we should get to the topic at hand.
Boom. The topic at desk, actually.
I can
sitting
talk
in front of
about
The
us.
topic at desk. Anyway, what helps or hurts anime?
Alright, we'll be using three. Well, we'll be We'll be
English?
fucking up our words is what we'll be doing. We'll be addressing both hurting and helping individually as the show progresses. So hold tight if you're wondering for one particular.
And for our first topic, or genre, or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it,
because
Or for our first blanket.
or archetype, yeah.
For our first blanketing of things.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna unfold Moe.
we'll put this topic to sleep anyway.
Oh, I was like, I got it all written down on my sheet.
So,
Moe.
Alright, yes, exactly, Moe. Now here's the thing. I guess we can go for this first topic. I suppose we could make this our question to end the show on. Is, do you think Moe is fan service? Because Cruxis is in a part all by himself, isolated from
I don't.
Sholtz and myself.
I do not. think
Bromandy
it's
is like
fan
split in
service.
half right now. I don't know why he gets half an hour.
Yeah, I was about to
himself.
say, that's some bullshit.
But
I think I participated in
My
that.
side has the tree.
That's cool. You just fucking have willpower. You'll take his
Dude,
half.
ours has the sunshine. So,
Okay,
boom.
I got the shade.
We have like
We got the
sunshine,
beach.
right?
It's almost summertime.
Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
But
So-
Anyway,
one of the biggest things with Moe, it seems to me, is just how connected you are to the characters. The story doesn't seem nearly as important, and a lot of the other things that go into like character development, and then even direction and stuff like that, just like that goes into the making of the anime itself, is not so much of a focus as it is the characters and the things that they talk about. And for that reason, having not much, air quotes, nudge nudge, wink wink, substance, quote unquote, is what helps define it as fan service for me.
yeah, man. You know what though?
What?
Fucking love Moe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I adore all sorts of Moe.
Can't help it. It's
It's
Moe.
a really love or hate sort of thing.
And I can't say much more for Moe other than it's Moe, and I can't not love Moe.
As far as pains and gains of anime go, however, I think from an outsider's viewpoint looking in, I could very easily see how someone would be turned away from Moe in general.
I could see
Anime as a genre.
I could see how I just pulled them in. just for being the way it looks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that's just a personal opinion though of the way something looks. So like cutesy versus serious.
Well, it's like when it's not necessarily just cutesy and serious. That's a big factor.
Those are just I'm putting general terms up.
The other thing is like, for instance, when you put on the first episode of Lucky Star and you make it through the opening, literally you're going to have an entire like 10-minute conversation about how to eat certain foods. If you don't think that's the most adorable shit of all time, then you're going to be in pain for all of those 10 minutes. Because you're going to be like, where do they keep pulling this food from? Why the fuck does it matter which side of the Choco Cornet you eat is the head and shit like that?
Eat is the head, yeah.
When you eat is the head, yeah, whatever. It's like, all of that will make no sense and you just won't care. Or you'll literally be like, I hope this is the entire episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, do not stop. I can watch 26 episodes of
I
this.
could have.
I mean, I think it was probably the perfect example when me and Marcus first watched the show. When half the room stayed and was completely entranced by the show, and the other half decides to leave because it's the same thing over and over.
Which, that's sort of a hard topic to go across in itself, is consistency versus, drone. More or less.
Well, when it's consistent, but it's effective.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, 26 episodes of that, probably could watch it. 27, though. Could watch that, too.
27? Roughly 156. We'll get up there with One Piece and stuff like that.
But see, it's like, that's why I think Moe just works for me. I could just sit there, and they could talk about a Choco Cornet for, like, 3 episodes, and be like, but wait, is this the head? And then 3 more episodes about, oh wait, no, the head was the other end. And
it looks like a big worm is what it looks like. It looks like a
I guess that's why I have a hard time calling Moe fan service, because fan service kind of has a negative connotation to it, as it's bad for the show.
And I understand that, but I feel like we all have 2 to 1 opinion, but me and Marcus differ slightly, because we both agree Moe is fan service. I don't think it's bad fan service, which, like you said, fan service is negative by default. That's what it is. I
suppose, since we're talking about defaults, we should just go ahead and throw out our general definition of fan service, which, if you guys don't mind, I can go ahead and get
go for it.
Fan service is basically anything thrown into, well, I suppose you can probably pick it up just from the word, but it's anything thrown in just for the sake of drawing a particular group of people, or like just trying to get like a huge group of people into it. Like, for instance, the 3 topics we'll be talking about is moe, ecchi, which is, fan service, that's fine. Which is literally just, salacious camera angles and things such as that. And then, the big action shows. So, with those 3 in mind, it's sort of the things that it's like, what will either hook everybody or get like a cult following almost. So, if it's in there to get attention and to get fans, obviously, fan service. So, that's sort of... It's a broad term, but there's some things that come to mind, such as the next topic being ecchi.
Well,
because
I guess
normally I just call it fan service, so you had to get the real name for it.
That's my thing. It's like you have moe, and then like sometimes you have moe that is over-sexualized to a degree to where it becomes ecchi. Now,
which is gross, but anyway.
To me, I said that's where you get into the topic of fan service. Because I feel like you're trying to draw a crowd with the over-sexualization.
Exactly. You try to get the lolicon group.
Ecchi is fan service. Yeah. If moe turns to ecchi, then yeah, that's fan service. I don't feel that, like I said, I believe moe is fan service. Fan service. That's a hard thing for me to say repeatedly. But I feel that if moe turns to ecchi, that is definitely fan service.
Exactly.
Moe is fan service in its own right, just because everything is adorable, and some people, which is a lot of people actually, just like cute things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I can call it fan service.
My last stand on the moe thing, without any negative attitude towards y'all at all, is literally just because I don't think, or I say fan service.
Fan service.
What?
See? Fan service. Can't say
fan
that many
service,
times.
hard word, is put in literally to draw a crowd, or just for that specific thing. I think moe has a little more broad generalization to it, where it's not just like cute thrown in for it. Like I said, it's got its funny side to it, which I guess some people can argue ecchi does too, but I just don't see that. Like,
well, the humor's lost on me as far as that is.
Ecchi, that's just over-sexual. That is the sexualization of it.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. As far as comedy and ecchi is concerned, I find it hard to think that it's put in there for humor when they're literally just like boob shine, fucking noise made. It's like this is the ideal quote unquote boob. And it's like, yeah, that's for comedy purposes.
It's like, oh, it's
Gotcha.
so funny. You're
Yeah,
about
it's
to
like-
see what's up my skirt. Oh
Yeah.
no!
Oh,
I don't
look.
know if they squeak.
Yeah.
The boob noise.
Yeah, the boob noise. Everybody has the boob noise in their mind if they've seen something ecchi-ish. But really the thing is whether or not ecchi hurts or helps the industry, and I believe by far that it definitely hurts the industry.
I think it takes away from the legitimacy of
Exactly.
anime.
Well, anything that just becomes about sex, that's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's just not, you're not thinking anymore. You're just, well, if you put
Exactly.
sex in it, there's no need for anything else. They're just having sex now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you recommend one of the shows, like from our last podcast, and then they watch a show and then they look at other anime and they see fan service anime and they're
Yeah.
like, well, okay,
It's
so
like-
it's a one and done thing.
Exactly. You take like I'm not going to give a name because there's no name to be given really, but you get like some sort of 10 out of 10 anime, and then you're like, all right after that, Samurai Harem. It's like, no, bad idea, actually. Samurai Harem, not going to be as good as 10 out of 10 Death Note. 10 out of good. I've been watching Death Note recently. 10 out of 10 anime. So like, to assume that all anime is the same as this like fan service harem show is a mistake. But at the same time, it's a mistake to also think that 10 out of 10 anime will be every single anime. But like Cruxis said, the legitimacy is jeopardized, I suppose, when someone trying to get into the anime scene, quote unquote, is exposed to just shit.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times, like I said, fan service just turns to just not be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It just typically isn't.
Well,
Because, like you said, it's there to draw in the crowd, so there is
Mhm.
really nothing backing it to making you just kind of fall flat
once
real
again,
fast.
that undefined quote unquote substance that I mentioned.
I like your quote unquote.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like
we haven't
substance.
defined substance yet.
We're not even saying that like some of like the best anime have little pieces of ecchi in them, which you were discussing earlier.
Mhm.
Like I said, just has little moments of it. I'm like, that's not too terrible. We're not completely turned around because you threw a little bit of.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
think of a show that I've watched that I could define as ecchi. I've never watched a show that that's ecchi. That's
Good
never been a show.
on you.
Well, I've never had one because I've got too many things to watch as it is.
That are good.
So
Anyway.
gotta catch up.
Yeah, well, don't skip that part. So, as we never really answered whether or not Moe was hurting or helping the industry. But I think it's a resounding, definite hurting as far as ecchi is concerned. Well,
Ecchi?
concerned.
Ecchi can just go away.
I really don't need it.
You can go watch hentai. You're good.
Yeah. Or you could not. But
I mean, if that's what you're looking for, they've got a whole. They named it for you,
I imagine they named it for you.
so you don't have to like get lost.
So you can
Oops,
Google
anime.
that shit.
I don't think you can say Moe hurts the fan service because literally
Hurts
you're
the
not.
fan service?
Yeah, hurts the what did I say?
You said hurts
Hurts
the
the
fan
show.
service.
It doesn't hurt the
Wait,
show. as
it
you
doesn't
were
hurt
saying.
the genre.
It doesn't hurt the genre. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Keep going.
Simply because, like I said, it's not disregarded as smut.
Well, then you're starting to get into what is fan service.
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
So,
well,
like,
like,
if
I
fan
mean,
service
I
is
know-
just bad, then
But like you said, you see an H show and it's taken away from like Golden Jewel, like anime shows.
well, at the same time, an argument can be made that if you put cutesy just to pull people who like cutesy things, they don't have to worry about it. Cutesy will keep people there because that's all they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So the argument made for anything almost, if you want to go deep enough with it, if it is a thing that is generally liked by at least lots of people,
Yeah.
I didn't want to think of a number. A lot of people like something, then you could put it in any show and make it into fan service. That doesn't make every instance fan service.
Just as sort of like an example, I would say Kyoto Animation is an animation studio. They're well known for having good animation quality, or at least in recent times. And like for instance, something like Haruhi was the first one to have it. Well, probably not the first one, but it was one of the more well known ones to start off with like having a dance in it somewhere. It's like with the Hara Hara Yukai dance at the end, and then you saw Lucky Star comes out soon after, with all the references. What does it start off with? A big old dance. And then you've got like, is it Tamako Market? It might be a different show. Once again, more dances. Also with Haruhi, the band scene, music. People love that. So then you've got K-On!, same company, entirely based around a little group of cute girls making a band. And it's like, to a certain extent, yeah, fan service is like, for me, Moe is fan service. But at the same time, just because something is good or like enjoyable does not necessarily make it fan service.
That's what I'm saying. It's when it is put in a show as just that just was part of the idea for the show. It's just there. It's part of the show.
Yeah.
Yes, but when the show is said thing, then you start to get towards fan service. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but if the show is there to show you cute things, then it's going to be a cute fan service.
Yeah.
If it's got cute stuff in a show that is also good, or has at least good anything else besides just, look, we're adorable, then you can say it's not fan service.
Yeah.
It can rely on this as well.
It's like sprinkles. It's like, dude, I love sprinkles. If you handed me a ball of sprinkle, I'm probably going to give that back to you because that's fucking gross. Make chickens and sprinkles here.
Yeah.
Bromandy.
That's what I was like. It's like, not McChickens.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got to be sprinkles.
It's like when you order a daggum McChicken, you say only mayonnaise. They throw that lettuce on there anyway just to be a bitch. It's like, okay, McDonald's.
You sound upset.
Well, it happened to me Saturday, so whatever.
So action.
Yes, next up is action, which is a little bit harder to talk about simply because so many shows have action. So that dividing line between just having a like conflict, like physical conflict, and having gratuitous explosions and, you know, shonen like that shouting thing, and it's like, it's over 9, all that bullshit. So kind of deviating between those two things is kind of a chore. But at the same time, some of it is just blatant, and that's why I can consider it fan service. Such as, you know, the Naruto scenes or something, or it's like Bleach or something, and they come in, and the good guy gets beaten up, and then he has that rousing soliloquy, and he's just like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you!
Every episode.
And then
Well, it's,
Every
and the thing is, it's like they draw it out for many, many, many episodes, so you get more and more and more action from that one single fight.
Exactly.
You're not going anywhere. You got like 1,000 more episodes to watch. They got it. You're good.
It's like you're 200 episodes in. I think they've got you.
That would honestly be where I stopped. Is at 200 episodes if I was in.
But even it's not necessarily just shonen though, because for instance, Hellsing Ultimate, I know it can be like, this is where it kind of gets blurred. Is for Hellsing Ultimate, you basically see at the beginning Alucard doing, you know, badass things, and then you get to the end and Alucard is doing insane things that is ridiculous, and you're like, holy shit, is anything more powerful than him? And it's basically just like, you know, rising power, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So that's sort of a blurred line, because you can either see it as progression or see it as development of him and like just realizing just how powerful he is, or them just being like, oh, well, that episode was well received, let's make it even hardcore.
Well, I say it's kind of a thing with anime, whereas it goes on, it has to keep one-upping itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the power
which
creep.
is why Gurren Lagann only has one season.
And power creep is just, if you can never put the word power creep to a show, it's typically going to get ridiculous before it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like overly just.
Well, it's like
blood's going to be everywhere.
The show I appreciate, Future Diary, like I said, it started off with very simple antics, and then it kept trying to be more explosive and in crazier fights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In that show, I mean, I don't know. I feel that's less. And I obviously I can't say it's not power creep because where they started was just high school, but power creep I would say is less so in that, only because what they had available to them, that just became the next step. They had this already, they just didn't need it yet.
Well, that's my thing. They first started, I was like, okay, somebody tries to kill them, they use a dart and it's poison, and like by the end they have AK-47s and a sword and all this other stuff.
Well, if we're going to talk about the show, at the beginning everything is super kind of calm, and then you're like, get these people, do it and win. Okay, the world's totally cool, but as you progress, the world kind of gets more and more fucked up in that show. It starts to
Harry
twist.
Potter syndrome.
Yeah, it just starts to twist, and so as that goes on, it becomes. I just feel it's more acceptable to have these bigger and more overt ways of attacking each other, because no one cares anymore. We're just getting it because I'm about to win.
Yeah, and there's always that OP character, and at this point, it's almost like grown worthy, because you're just like, they're always apathetic. They're always like, I'm just a badass. And then, you know, things explode behind them and they don't look and they just do shit like that. Yeah. All of that is kind of offensive.
They don't care that they're winning. And they're like, why don't you care you're winning?
Yeah, it's like, you're killing lots of people right now. And that was the goal. It's like, be
excited, like super happy. Come on, man, you did it.
Yeah, that's sort of a problem I have with the high octane action. I would say depending on how far they go, and depending on how they explain the action based on, where the show is, which is kind of hard to explain. But it's like if like in Bleach, where they're in high school, if he just literally just met that Soul Reaper girl, and then he was a Soul Reaper, but he was always one, so like he'd go to school with that big ass sword, it's just be like, it's obviously just a completely different tangent that they just went on, and everything has just immediately changed, and no one's talking about it. Like, just random action that explodes for no reason, and you really have, like, it really has no purpose in being there other than to be like, hey, it's getting worse, I think that can really hurt the industry just because,
well,
it just comes out of left field.
In those super long-running shows, power creep is obviously going to be there.
Can you do me a favor? Okay, just real quick for the viewers and myself. Can you define power creep for me?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the idea where, okay, this character is losing. Okay, I need to better myself. Gets stronger. And it's, like I said, more obvious in long-running shows. Not immediately, but when you keep going, you'll see. So, good guy loses, gets better, wins. Or just powers up, wins. But now he's this strong. And if he just beats the next guy like that, and it's just over, that's no fun. They can't make a show about him just one-shotting everybody, because he's already ridiculous. Look at him. So they have to make the next enemy stronger than him now. So he's got to lose, come back, get stronger. But since the next enemy's always stronger, he has to just keep getting stronger. And eventually it becomes rampant. It just gets ridiculous to where, like, this fight is so close. Yes, but you could just blow up the planet by turning around. So originally, you had to, like, super hardcore try to, like, shoot an energy ball, and that's how you finally won. And now you just blink, and the dude explodes into, like, blood dust, and it's really fucking cool looking, but wow, that's too much.
It's Batman fights Mr. Freeze, loses, and then makes a solar ray gun. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, you just get ridiculously
Marvel syndrome.
Overpowered. And like I said, the longer the show, the more obvious it can become obvious when you look back, because, like I said, that's just silly. When you turn around and a planet explodes and
start throwing galaxies at one another.
Yeah, it gets weird. So yeah, power creep, definitely not a cool thing when it becomes really obvious. Obviously, progression. There's a point of progression in strength to just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Take a good example for a good use of action, and I guess it's kind of a form of power creep, but
well, again, if it's just like progression for the sake of, I was really weak when I started, but now I'm really strong in whatever you want to talk about. That's just the person growing as a person or getting stronger physically or whatever you want to say. There's a point where it becomes power creep because it's, I have to get even stronger, and it keeps happening. Like 18 times later, why can't I just kill everyone this easily now?
Well, as I was like, take Tokyo Ghoul, for example, how it starts and how it moves forward.
It's I wouldn't call that power creep. I would call that just progression of a person in the way the show took it.
That's why I was saying it was a good use of
definitely.
action in a anime.
Oh, definitely.
Whereas, like I said, season 1, 12 episodes, very short, so every episode is going to have something to offer. And like I said, it's just a good use of action. It's no necessarily over the top.
Well, last time I talked about Tokyo, I was like, sometimes I just want something badass. But that show is actually really good to the point where it isn't just action. Because there's some episodes you could go through most of it. I think all of some. I can't remember each episode individually. It's just a big blur. Yeah. But I want to say you can go through a lot of it without any fighting or any kind of action. To the point, it's just a good show that has really cool fights. It's just really cool. So that's just good fighting in a show. That's why I feel action is a good thing, as long as it isn't power creep.
As long as it's not power creep.
I have a word for it now.
I do. Smile now.
All right. Now, as far as helping the anime industry is concerned, this is going to become a lot more general, at least for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, like I said to you previously, friend, I feel anything that is not shit, that isn't, like, if it was a 5 or up, we'll say 6 and up, because that's the upper half. Yeah, that makes more sense. If it's a 6 and up, technically I could consider that helping, because if it's a good show and someone watches that and then it's like, I'm going to watch more, that's good. And then you have ecchi, and someone's like, that's just creepy. Why is all of anime like this? And then they just leave.
They're all
that
like
was
this.
Bad. That's why I feel helping is very general.
Well, yeah,
but I know you had specific ones to talk about.
No, well, it's hard to say that I have specific ones, because it's like, well, anime has good characters and anime has... It's like, yes, every genre has that. And for me, it's more of like the uniqueness of the genre that you couldn't get in like Western media, kind of like the, North America, left half of Europe,
Yeah.
all that sort of thing, because it's almost like we've got our own little standard that we see. And it's like, okay, this is how this, like, the main character is going to be a badass, and then like he's going to have like a family, so he appeals to the families, and it's like all that shit goes on. And then Japan, there's like a whole different set of things they have to either affirm or put down. And then they've got their own kind of like storytelling that they've grown up on their own and their own, because, I mean, it's a completely different part of the world.
Yeah.
So I think just like being able to go to a different culture almost, well, literally, not almost, to just go to a different culture and it having its own thing and its own, archetypes, genres, stuff such as that. I think that it needs to be viewed equally rather than just being like, oh, Japan has tentacles, so I don't watch anime stuff. And it's like, it has its own unique things, it has its own quality, and you just have to give it a shot. And once you get into the good stuff, and even the mediocre stuff, it still has its own major quality that I think can be easily seen if given a shot.
Well, I mean, a lot of people just go, anime, okay, you're watching cartoons.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like...
Because of the Western mindset.
And they just think of Bugs Bunny or whatever, and it's just, that was cute.
It's like, oh, so you like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It's like, no, I don't. I like Death Parade. It's like, okay. Kind of a different vibe.
The card game's fun.
Yeah, the card game is fun, yeah.
Just wanted to say that. But it's just stigmas. Stigmas in general, and that just comes from the difference in cultures, like you said. So, tentacles, that's now all of anime for people who think that's from Japan. Japan has tentacles now.
For those people that are ignorant.
Yes, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
For we hate me. Yes, so it's just stigmas come from differences, and when they get really different, then people just stop. They won't even give it a chance because it's just scary.
Shall we jump into another side topic? Not necessarily with the moe, ecchi, or action, but I mean something that I guess personally I wanted to bring up.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I'm super hyped.
All right. Positive or negative, you can give examples of which. I have a perfect negative example
of
harems.
I feel like we might have heard a little something about this before, but please.
Okay, now
I need to know.
As we talked about in the first podcast, there's quite a few of us that like Sword Art Online.
Yes, I love the show.
Okay,
yes, there are quite a few of us that like Sword Art Online.
Yeah, quite a few of us.
One of us here might not, but
yeah, we're not going to say who.
Just because Cruxis hates the show.
I love the show, but I do have a disappointment with the direction it's taking. As we all know, it's a show about Kirito, surrounded by other characters as he progresses through the show. Won't get into many details about the show. But when you are surrounded by female characters, and they feel the need to put you in, I don't even want to say sexual situations where it's like, oh, this girl has a hope of falling in love with you, and even though you don't fall in love with her, for the rest of the show, she's lagging behind you and wanting to be with you, regardless of which girl you're with, that's a problem.
You're saying that is a problem? Or?
I'm saying harems are a problem.
Well, definitely they're a problem.
I mean, no one. I don't think any of us are going to argue against harems. I'm sorry.
For harems.
For harems. None of us are going to argue against what you're saying.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to say. None of us are going to argue for harems. I mean, there was hints of it earlier in the show, like you were talking about in Sword Art. It just kind of wasn't as...
Yeah, it was...
I like the word overt today. It wasn't as overt.
It was tolerable at that point.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen.
Well, it was more like, here's this character, and I kind of like him, but I'm going to move on. Mm-hmm. But then as you progress through the show, it's more like, okay, I didn't really move on. This guy's sexy. And I want him.
He's really good at video games, because that's how life works.
It is.
Look, at that point, yeah. That'd be a very big part of that.
But yeah, there's a difference between just running into someone and them liking you. And then, we're going to make a guild house, let's all live together.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, there's progression of a person, and and then it gets bad.
And then there's ridiculous leaps of logic.
So you go from, hey, we're not going to work out. Sorry. She can't let that go in her heart yet. It's just, she's got to stay.
Well, my thing is, I think it takes away from those supporting characters. I think it's all about the protagonist.
Yeah,
well,
it really cheapens.
You can say that all about season 2 of that show.
You can say that all about anime, really. Female characters are really weakened in some. But then, you get those shining characters. You get Holo the Wise Wolf and stuff like that. That, really shine. But it's hard to have a female character, it seems, nowadays. Because either they start off strong, and then they're blushing because the person that they like is like, hey, first name, you know?
Oh.
And it's oh, you know, it's like, no, calm down. It's like it really cheapens some of the characters.
Hey, tsundere.
Yeah, hello, tsundere.
I hate you.
But
But
Red face. Anyway.
but a good use of the, I guess, just a harem kind of
Harem-esque.
thing. There you go. Because I don't know that I can say harem good use ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But things that would resemble such a thing, like in Clanad, it's not quite a harem.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all just like on that dick, but
yeah.
but they did, as like I said, like I failed to say the last time and tried so hard to put words out. They all just every week, hey, new friend X, let's friend, and then they fall in love because, you know, he's a really cool guy Y or whatever, and then oh, I'm sorry, I really like this other person. Z's way better than that. So
Well,
sorry.
like, I think they did a good job with it because they have like 6 female characters, one of which is not interested in him at all. She's a comedy character.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have another character which is literally just a side piece who's like, she has a story to her, but she never really gets involved with him. Then you have the other 4, one who is really in love with him, one who he loves, and then one who just like picks at him. And then I'm forgetting one. Okay, one that was just super adorable. Anyway, Moe.
Anyway, again.
But I think they do a good job of breaking it apart where like you have little mini arcs that help people and they get attached, but you only get like 1 or 2 that are really wanting to be emotionally involved in him, which I guess takes away from the harem feel. Because it's not every one of them's like, oh my gosh, we love this guy.
Well, it helps when a character in a harem is actually a character rather than a cardboard cutout. It's like, rather than being like, oh, I am, you know, trademark tsundere, or I am tsundere that got really fucked up as a kid, so now she can't trust anybody. You know, there's a difference between a character and an archetype. It's like, you can literally just throw an archetype into a show, or you can like make an actual character who has
give
story.
a reason for it.
Exactly. It's like, if there's no reason for it, then it's obvious that it's just going to be a harem, you know?
Whew, just...
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, and that's one that
Nothing
you
is for
hit the problem with Sword Art right on the head, is that the characters were so broad. It's like you have your tsundere, then you have your clingy, like, wanna be with him, then you have the lolly, and then you have the relative.
Yeah, man.
We were talking about stigmas from other cultures.
That's not weird. Yes, it is. Anyway.
They made a game.
Stigmas from other cultures. Don't get it, but okay.
Moe is really hard to talk about in terms of doing it right or doing it wrong, simply because, like we said earlier, it's such a love-hate relationship between the fans of them. It's like either you're going to sit there and adore it because it's adorable, or you're just going to sit there and you're going to be like, why the fuck does this exist? It's like, does it, like, people put money into this and people buy this.
Because it tickles my heart.
Yeah.
And you're going to respect me.
You're
For my heart being
just like,
tickled.
you're going to respect me for watching little girls talk about food, okay?
Look, it's okay. It's going to be fine.
So,
They're going to tell me which end is the head.
we are we're still not decided about Moe, as you can tell.
No, I'm fully decided that it is, yes, fan service. Yes, it's acceptable fan service because it's not overtly just bad.
Okay, well,
I love it.
you know our opinions on it.
You especially know mine now.
You also know our opinions on ecchi. Now, as far as high octane magic, dude, that's badass.
High octane magic.
As far as high octane action goes,
It's a regular.
doing it well or doing it wrong, I suppose we could start off with Cruxis' examples.
For what?
Good and bad. I
Good
guess.
and bad high octane action.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, I went with Tokyo Ghoul. But, like I said, that's a great example. What are you asking me?
What is a good example
When
of
do they-
high octane action?
So we'll
and
go
how-
to me
and-
instead.
Okay.
I have an idea of what he's wanting to hear. Like I said, Dragon Ball Z, I feel early on, I watched it when I was younger, so yes, I can at least say things about it. Dragon Ball Z, when I first watched it, yeah, man, getting stronger. Cool. Okay, we're fighting. Look, it exploded because I shot a ball at it. Yada, yada, blah, blah. Anyway, so it's exploding. They're shooting him to win. They're not shooting him to turn the earth to dust. Everything, as you get to the latter half of Dragon Ball Z, or the latter whatever Dragon Ball Z, everything they do starts blowing up shit. Everything.
everything.
Like, if a mountain doesn't get cut in half when I shoot this, I don't think it can hurt him. Like, legitimately, I don't think they can get remotely scratched unless it can kill this planet first. It activates the power when it kills things. I don't know. That's a terrible use, and it just starts to get worse and worse as it's just exploding because they're like, but it could explode bigger. Hold on.
It's like, this blew up one planet. We could get a planet and a moon if we tried really hard.
Oh my god, I'm super ready.
3 episodes of development and we can get that moon in there, I'm telling you.
3 episodes of development of a spirit bomb? Anyway, look, I did watch Dragon Ball Z. But good, as he was trying to say Tokyo Ghoul, it's in there because of the world. Because they're, like you said earlier, give a reason for it. They're not fighting, there's blood, but it's not blood because they wanted blood, and you can say that for anything, to be honest, that it could be. But it's blood because of what they are and what they're doing. It's not just, oh, this is just gore because we want to give gore. Look at what you're seeing happen. And look at what this world has all over it. There's reasons why this is this ridiculous high octane, as you like to say, action. I won't say combat. That's a good word though. So that's my 2 good and bad example here on it. I like action, but again, if it gets ridiculous and uses power creep, it gets terrible, and just explosions, my eyes start to burn a little.
Well, that's like for instance, my example of a well done high octane action show is the second season specifically of Black Lagoon, because the first season's kind of crazy, but then you get to the second season where it's like person versus soldier. The soldier's gonna win. The person's gonna get wrecked. And it's like when it starts to get realistic as far as like who would win in a fight, or like this is the situation we're in. It's like Rock versus strategist. Rock is going to get wrecked. It's like when it's realistic and there's not crazy bullshit. There's not maids jumping on top of 60-mile-an-hour cars, stabbing a knife through the roof to ride with them. When that's not there, that's great.
I feel like we have an issue with something.
Yeah. I still like the first season, but
well,
still.
Like you said, realism. I feel realism realism is the same argument I was making with mine. Not saying we're against, but realism, it has a reason. Give a reason for it. This is why we put like literally 7 gallons of blood on you. This is why. Because it made sense building up to it. There wasn't just suddenly like, well, we wanted to fucking blood.
We wanted to blood.
Blood's a verb now, by the way.
We wanted to blood.
And it's like I said, give a reason for it. That is reality. Reality is a reason for it. So I feel, whereas you can't just say reality for my shows, a lot of them, well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Reality within the world provided.
Exactly, there you go.
So I suppose that's our thoughts on hurting and helping anime.
I don't know. Whether, like I said,
Chris caught up.
Sorry. I
had
a misunderstanding. I was like, what topic are we on now? No.
We were just finalizing our action stances.
I was actually going to, when you said good, I had ghoul, and then I started thinking, I had Blood Sea as a good use of action, and now that I sit here and think about it, it's not really that good. Because it presents yourself with a monster of the week type of thing, and you watch it to simply watch how you're going to defeat said monster of the week. And it does. The show's called Blood Sea. It's going to have blood in it. And now I think about, like I said, it had good violence to it, and to the point where it wasn't bad. But then I think about, like, blood spray, like, all over the place. And I'm like, that's not necessarily necessary.
Well, at the same time, that's just kind of an anime thing. Is like the blood spray.
Well, I mean, but like when they had the point where it's like reflect on character. Okay, blood dripping on you, hitting you all over the place.
I've seen the first episode.
Maybe a bit overdone.
I've seen the first episode, and I would say, in the killing blows, not quite the kill, but yeah, actually the killing blow. It didn't have to do that for like you said, blood spray for that long. Oh my god!
It's like it does it good, but then it reaches a little bit and then drifts into it. So like,
it goes over the top.
Yeah, and like I said, when I think about
figuratively and literally,
when I think more towards the end of the show, it does the same thing, but when it gets to the, I guess the explosive blood part, it gets even more gratuitous.
Well, I couldn't say because I've only seen the first episode so far, but depending on how you get there, it can be okay.
Yeah,
it just.
Well, I mean, concerning the scenario, I was like, this is okay. This is good use because of what's going on. But then I'm like, you know what? There may be a little bit of pushing the buttons, but I don't know.
Well, another
It's on
little
the fence.
small generalization, or whatever the word I'm trying to use, distinction between them, like I said, power creep to just progression could be, well, you put the blood spray in there. Is it there because people want to see just blood spurting out of someone, or was it there because they felt it added to that moment?
Well, that's like, this is an anime, and I'm sorry for breaking from the anime. If you're disillusioned, I apologize. But, for instance, the film American Psycho with Christian Bale in it. And the part where he kills somebody, because that's not a spoiler, it's called American Psycho. And when he kills them, he just beats the shit out of him with an axe. And if you watch it, all the blood goes on one side of his face, and it goes so far as for him to sit down in a chair, and from the side you can't see any of the blood anymore. That's sort of the two-faced persona that he shows, because, he's not like running around, hey, I'm an American Psycho. He keeps it a secret. So like the blood splaying on one side of his face is, that night and day, juxtaposition that you see in some things, where it's supposed to symbolize the two sides of the character. But if you kill a monster and you are red, that serves no purpose other than to be like, dude, that was super violent, wasn't it? You know what I mean? So like you said, the distinction between the two is really important.
Oh, you've got me all kinds of thinking now, because, like, half of her personality is not what you see when she's fighting, said creatures. It's singing going to school in the morning. So, I mean...
It's a direction choice.
Yeah, it's hard to pick that.
Well...
Forgive me for even bringing it up then.
I was wondering
That was a good little thing to think about.
Well, I mean, the same thing happens in, for instance, Spider-Man 3. Once again, live action. I apologize. When Sandman, when you see him for the first time, he climbs into his family's room at night, and when he leans forward, you see the light from the outside shining on one side of his face, and then the shadows from the dark room on the other.
They just like that a lot.
We should have a direction cast.
That'd be awesome.
I'll be absent. I don't know enough things.
And that'll symbolize the things that we haven't figured out yet.
Me.
See, direction, right?
No one knows who I am. Not even me.
So I guess that just about wraps up our anime podcast for the week.
Right. Any final thoughts on any of these topics?
Not that wouldn't... I don't have any thought that would be considered redundant at this point.
God, I love Moe.
Yeah, it's like, we love Moe. It's like, Ecchi's kind of a turn off.
Dude.
Action can be cool, and harems, no thanks. All right, so leading off with a question for the next podcast. Your anime family.
Oh.
Who would it be?
Who is your mom? Who's your dad? Who's your two siblings? And
brother and sister.
And you get one relative out of your choice. Just
one extended family.
One extended family
Great
member.
granddad, daughter, crazy cousin. Name it.
I get a
Whatever you
daughter?
want.
Oh my
You
god,
know,
I'm
you
done.
can
I just
have
finished
a
the
kid.
family. Oh, I got to shift two people around now. Oh, I'm so happy.
So exciting things to come. So we'll see y'all in the next podcast.
Outro sequence.
Outro. Bang.
Fucking fuck.
There you go.
That's the crazy laugh from Death Note.
Dude, fucking fuck bang crazy laugh.
See y'all later.
Bye.